Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited episode 61. I'm your host Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is not the double Mike syndrome, it is
TFG1 Mike.
Welcome back.
Hello.
So yes, just right off the start of the show, sorry for the 45-minute diatribe on Destiny last week.
It was your destiny to live through that.
I was surviving. I don't mean any ill will or any meanness or whatever in my saying that to the other two hosts. I had nothing to contribute to that, and I don't care about the game. If they would have talked Diablo III, I would have talked that, which I did get the expansion Saturday because my friend that I used to work with, that I went to high school with, I was playing regular Diablo 3, and he's like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, "I'm playing Act 3 for the 50th something time, because I can't level up anymore." So they have this thing called Paragon levels, which is it's a more powered up version. It's like a simulated level up, which is stupid. So I'm Paragon level now. I'm Paragon level like 62 or something, and then level 70 with the expansion now. But the highest the regular lets you go is 60 for the level, and then you get a lot more items and modes to play in, and things that you can get and upgrade if you get the expansion. So in this instance, I think Diablo actually hit it off and did really well, because before I was getting really bored, and this is the first time I've seen an expansion actually do something. Besides add an entirely another act, and mind you, Act 5 is hell on any level. We started it out kind of like they actually have like 9 different modes. Not to jump on the video game bandwagon right off the bat, but I started playing it anyway, and he gave me a promo code because it's a $20 add-on. I didn't feel like buying it because I didn't know, and he's like, "Hey, here's the promo code, and punch this in, and you'll have the expansion." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And so he got me the expansion, and then we played that for about 5 hours. And he leveled me up, got me through the stuff, and I did get better at the game throughout it. And but yeah, the levels, there's like normal, there's hard, there's normal, there's like nightmare, there's hell, and then there's like 6 levels of torment. Like literally torment level 1 through 6, and then like before the expansion, I could play up to level 6 with other people on there, and I was doing pretty good. Torment level 1 is about as far as I can go in the expansion, because I get thrashed something terrible. It's hard. So, but yeah, I was enjoying that the other day.
Awesome. Well, I have been constantly dealing with my upstairs neighbors for the last, month and a half. So, to make a very long story short, I used to be in a aftercare program it's a state-run program. I was in it when I was still a child of the state, back when I was, 17, 18, 16, 17 years old. They had this aftercare program where they would have a HUD program. Well, that HUD program shut down, and in turn, they allowed me to take over the lease at this apartment so my mom and I could have a place to live that was a 2-bedroom apartment. The apartment above us, where I used to live, like back in 2011, was also a Boys Haven apartment at the time. Apparently, as of this month, they supposedly signed over the lease into the girl's name who was living there because she exited the program. She aged out or something or other. And the last 3.5 weeks before this supposedly just happened, I've seen her maybe 3 or 4 times, and every time else in the last 3 weekends, I've called the cops 5 times in the last 3 weekends. Because constant noise, more noise than there has been, you know, in the last 6 months. And come to find out, it's a completely different woman living up there now, who has 3 children. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. So unless the other girl, the original girl, is still living there, which we have no idea. So I've been trying to get to the bottom of this, and I just let I filled the landlord in because apparently they have no lease on that apartment right now. The landlord doesn't. So it's like, are we dealing with squatters? But these people are so inconsiderate. They'll let their kids run around at like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. We're trying to sleep, damn it. It's like, oh my God. So that's what I've been dealing with recently. Hopefully everyone goes over to geekcastradio.com, checks out Remote Control. It's the new TV podcast. It is not replacing the telecast. I think I mentioned this before. It's not replacing the telecast, but it's doing something with TV that Kevin wasn't quite sure how to eventually get it covered. Remote Control is anything from the year 2000 and whatever now is for television. So we've got that launched. We've got, as of this recording, we will have 3 episodes out total. We've got the episode 0, the introduction, pilot premiere for Gotham, and pilot premiere for Scorpion will be out. And then after that is Stalker and Flash. So that's what's going on there. Because I've been so focused on Remote Control, my brain has lost every ability to even control the pull bag schedule for comics. I feel like I'm a juggler in Haley's Circus, for crap's sake, trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to get Punisher Month done and everything else this year with my numbering scheme. This is the one time my entire life my numbering scheme is really kicking my arse here. Oh Lord! So that's.
I think it's funny,
huh?
You finally get what you deserve.
You can't see this and the listeners can't see this, but I'm giving you the finger right now because I know you don't want any F-bombs on this show. So, you.
Thank you.
Ass.
Yes. So anyways, in other news.
Yes.
I've been dealing with another issue around my house. This one pertains to we've got this plumbing issue.
Oh Lord.
With the bathtub on the upstairs.
Oh Lord.
Which is leaking.
Nice.
Into the basement bathroom.
Ew.
No, it's the bathtub. So whenever you stand in it or fill it with water, it literally drains a little bit of it from the pipes into or on top of the toilet seat on the bathroom in the basement.
Oh Lord.
I'm not happy.
I wouldn't think
because we're gonna have a plumber come out and look at it for an estimate. So I'm hoping that's not a big pain in the ass. The tub where it sits in the house was not. It clearly should never have been put where it was put, but because there isn't enough room to tighten actual copper piping underneath where they've got it sitting, there's these 2 floor joists that are literally like 4 inches apart. So there's not really a way to get a wrench in there and actually tighten it, or to fit one in there. It was done pretty asinine. Of course, you know, it was the 70s. The guys were probably high, so whatever. Little by little, this house will be new. I still have to fix the garage door, so I don't have to hold the remote or hold the button on the house on the inside of the garage to allow us to shut the damn door, because it's got a sensor on it there's one that's plugged in, one that's not on the one side, and I don't know exactly what to do as far as that. Mm-hmm. So I've got to sit and kind of play around with it. So that'll be fun.
Wow.
But, yeah. Like I said, little by little, this house is becoming normal.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Anything else going
on? Potentially next episode, if I'm on, I will have a full kind of breakdown, maybe for a topic of Batman the Animated Series Volume 3.
Sweet.
For the La La Land Records soundtrack, which just got released as of this recording. It just released October 7th, 2014. So I shot my buddy, my contact at La La.
That's not nice.
What?
You shouldn't shoot your buddies.
Shut up. I shot my contact at La La Land Records an email. He said they just got the stuff in, and they'll send it out shortly, so I'm waiting on that as of this recording, but hopefully next week I will have a full write-up for that. So that's going on. What else? I think that's it for now.
Alrighty, so without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Future Spock before we get into the news. Be back after this.
Down here on your desk. I need to speak with you. Therefore, to not play with it would be illogical.
Well, that was an odd piece there. Thanks, Future Spock, for that. All right, we'll get in with some television news. I think it's only fitting that since you started a phenomenon that has, to date, our highest subscriber count, dealing with this particular genre of geekery, I think that it's only fitting that you bring this up.
God. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a very, very sad Saturday morning, October 4th, 2014, because that is the date. That is the date that Skynet took our cartoons away from us. As of Saturday, October 4th, 2014, there were no cartoons airing on Saturday morning on any of the broadcast networks. The whole concept of Saturday morning cartoons has basically gone out the window. Pretty much the big networks are, it's all, live action stuff. Even Nickelodeon has kind of moved away from having cartoons on Saturday morning. They have Power Rangers at like noon, but that's not the same as live action. But I remember even 5 to 10 years ago, Saturday morning cartoons were everywhere. But this past Saturday was the last Saturday that the CW aired its Vortex block of cartoons. Which is basically stuff like reruns of Justice League and that kind of stuff, and I think it was new episodes of Pokemon, or actually that's like Cartoon Network now. It was new episodes of various different cartoons, but this past Saturday, nothing, no more Saturday morning cartoons. So our childhoods are effectively dead at this point. And sure, we have DVDs and we can, show, I don't have kids, but I know you do. And, it's one of those things where you can show your kids cartoons on Saturday morning, but it's kind of different now. It's not going to be the same experience as we had as kids, because getting up Saturday morning and parking your ass in front of the TV and watching the cartoons along with all of the commercials. I'll tell you one thing about TV in general right now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't remember as many old people advertising and lawyer advertising. I don't remember that 10, 20, 30 years ago as much as it is on TV right now. And I'm not just talking about, like, overnight infomercials. I'm talking about, like, in the middle of the day, Becker Law Office, or, this pill has gone bad. Call here. You may be able to sue. So, I don't remember all of that kind of advertising years and years and years ago. And it really surprises me on some of this stuff. And with Saturday morning cartoons, it was a thing of the times. And it's gone now, which sucks.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that a lot of the stations... I mean, I understand it. At the same time, it's not profitable, but who the hell actually listens to them damn infomercials? Because I know I sure as hell don't. And that's pretty much all Saturday and Sunday morning is. I mean, hell, why don't they just turn Sunday mornings into the Saturday mornings of television, of animation? Because, I mean, I know that there's a lot of different ways for animation to be consumed.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think that, and I understand it's the times changed. There's it's just not the same. And pretty much we can thank Saved by the Bell for the death of it.
Well, it
started that revolution, and then everything else trickled downhill.
You can really thank the worst show out of that entire franchise, and don't you dare say the college years. You can thank Saved by the Bell, the new class, for really kicking it into the ground.
Well, the original one actually is the one that started the downward spiral, and
right.
It really took away from the demographic. The new class just kind of started killing all types of television.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and I mean, honestly, I was watching even up until they quit doing it, the CW, which had their Vortex.
Mm-hmm.
With Justice League Unlimited, Dragon Ball Z, Nuts and Bolts. I'd sit there and watch all the programs that were on for 2-3 hours on Saturday mornings, which again would repeat on Sundays.
Yep.
And I'd watch them with my son. And now I actually have to go into my DVD cache and dig out cartoons because there's none on TV.
Yep.
I mean, I know that PBS plays some. I know that...
yeah, but what PBS plays is like...
It's educational stuff, which it's not a big deal. I don't care about that. And then I've got, some stuff from Disney, which, don't get me wrong, I like some of the stuff that plays on there too. I'm excited for Star Wars Rebels. I watched the first episode of that. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I just watched it too. It was interesting.
But one, I don't have the channels anymore, so I can't watch Disney. And then I can't... Cartoon Network, I loathe them because they're not actually Cartoon Network. They're just crap network. Because they play a lot of stuff that's not appropriate for kids that are younger on it. Honestly, that should be split into 2 stations, or 2 or 3 stations. Kind of like Disney has their Disney Junior, and then they have their regular Disney.
Yeah.
Or they have their,
It's Disney, Disney Junior, and Disney XD.
Yeah, so they should have 3 stations like that. They should have one that's Adult Swim. That's all the questionable kind of content like that. They should have, regular Cartoon Network that plays, just anything from the 60s to now. And then they should have another one that's kind of like, if they want the goofy, stupid crap like Teen Titans Go, like stupid crap, they should put it on there. So, I know it sounds like I'm bashing cartoons and
no, I mean,
I think that's because honestly, I'm not going to let my kid watch Cartoon Network. It's one, they flip flop the shows too damn much. 2, and that'll get into another subject we can bring up after. But they kill shows before, like good shows, before they get the chance to actually get going. And it's almost like the Fox syndrome with animation and Cartoon Network. You get look at Thundercats, the revival. I'm not saying it was a great show, but it had potential.
Mm-hmm.
But because it kept getting flip-flopped and replaced with crap programming, it killed it. And then the same thing with Green Lantern, the animated series, and the Young Justice, which I thought had a lot of potential.
Yep.
So I mean, it still boils down to that. There's a lot of stuff that gets ruined because they're just screwing. I mean, if you don't want superheroes on your station, don't pick them up.
Yeah, well, that and don't make deals. Like, I remember when
it's like they're just grabbing a cash bag and they're saying, "Thank you very much, we'll play it," and then they're like, "Oh, we're going to switch it around. Oh, we're going to switch it around. Oh, we're going to switch it around," and then the show dies.
Now, don't get us wrong, folks. We understand that there's a lot of time, effort, and production that goes into getting at least one episode of a cartoon done. But if you look at how Cartoon Network is handled, all of the cartoons that have been kicked off of there.
Let's look at it during. Remember the I can't remember what they called it, but it was the late '90s.
Oh God, what a cartoon!
Yeah, what a cartoon! And they played the Dexter's Lab, Cow and Chicken. I mean, granted, those aren't exactly kid appropriate either, but they were entertaining. And they had a consistent block that you could count on, kind of like Toonami. I mean, granted that's like the teenager hotspot right there is Toonami, and I remember watching Toonami when I was a kid, and I loved it. And again, obviously there was enough love to that. That's why they brought it back. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's not that the shows are garbage that are on there. I think it's the way that they present everything. I mean, if you look at Nickelodeon, I may not be the biggest fan of SpongeBob, but they've marketed that so well that it's hard not to recognize it as what it is.
And it's hard not to realize that damn show has been around for years.
It's been around for a decade.
Yeah. And
then they've got, the new Ninja Turtles cartoon on there. They've got Power Rangers. I mean, they've got all these things that have ties to us as kids that I think makes Nickelodeon stronger. I think it makes Disney and Nickelodeon much stronger than Cartoon Network in this day and age because they're sticking by a lot of what made them what they are, but they're also, I mean, I'm not saying not to evolve because I don't want to sound like an old fart, get off my lawn type, this is how it was when I was a kid. This is how it always should be. But I applaud them for their ability to not kind of just throw things in there to throw things in there. It seems like everything that gets on their stations lasts at least 2-3 years, and then they at least, and then they may go away or they may keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, see, here's the thing. Anyone can cite that a cartoon is too expensive to make. That has nothing to do... okay, take Turtles, for example. Turtles is going healthy. The Season 3 just started on Nickelodeon.
And Season 2 just ended, mind you.
Right. Season 2 just ended. Season 3 just started this past weekend. Okay? Or not this... Well, yeah, whatever. Anyway. Take Turtles on Nickelodeon, okay? They own the rights to that. They're putting out the cartoon. I remember, and I'm going to have you put the link in the show notes somewhere. I remember when we talked to Abby Collins, she told us, this is last year maybe?
It was earlier this year, I thought.
Was it earlier this year?
Yeah, because I remember doing the art.
Yeah, it was probably earlier this year. She told us at the time that... let's see, the Abby Collins interview was published back in March of this year. In March, they were still in the middle of Season 2 on Turtles, and she was telling us that Rob Paulson had just come out of a session for a Season 3 episode. So, clearly the production on Turtles is far in advance of what they're airing. So, let's say, for example...
Well, I think that because they know they have a hit, they're fast-tracking it and trying to keep the momentum going while it's still hot.
Right. Now, you take someone like Cartoon Network, who, you got, the first 6 or 7 episodes. And see, that was the other thing. Was it 2012? Was it 2012 or last year? Either in the last 2 years, at Comic-Con or somewhere, Cartoon Network came out at the beginning of the year. It probably wasn't Comic-Con then if it was beginning. I remember the beginning of the year, it's like, next year, we're starting DC Nation on Cartoon Network. They made it this big, huge thing. It's going to be this big Saturday morning event. And then they slowly just started letting it die off. And it's like, seriously? Everybody loves these shows. Okay, sure, maybe the ratings weren't there. That's another thing people can cite, that the ratings weren't there. But still, it's like, don't futz with the schedule, people. I remember at 2 or 3 different times that... was it Beware? No, it wasn't Beware. It was either Green Lantern or Thundercats. I can't talk tonight. Thundercats. 2 or 3 different times it was on a Friday night or an early Friday evening or a late Saturday. They kept screwing with the schedule. It's like, don't do that, and don't give us extremely long amounts of hiatuses. That's really what is killing cartoons. Is, again, I understand if production takes a long time. I understand that, and I get that. I'm not complaining about that. I'm complaining about if Cartoon Network has 13 episodes of a show to run. The only time I can forgive this is, say they start the first 6 weeks in November, or the first 6 weeks in October, and then they run through like Thanksgiving, and then they take a break from it. Like, that's when I can forgive it. But Thundercats and Beware the Batman, or the Green Lantern and Young Justice, all that stuff, that crap was airing during the summer at the time, and they still futzed with the schedule, and it screwed people over. And I know people have various ways that they like to watch their cartoons, whether it be DVD, Hulu, Netflix, whatever it is. But honestly, getting up sometimes... I used to get up 5:30 in the morning, and I knew cartoons weren't on yet. They didn't start till 6 o'clock. But getting up 5:30, 5:45 to get ready for Saturday morning cartoons was a tradition. And now that's gone.
Yep.
Yep.
So jumping into something similarly placed into the Cartoon Network and cartoon realm.
Uh-huh.
Hub Network, which I know that was announced earlier on, but I somehow
missed it.
That Hub was being dissolved into the Discovery Family Channel, which sounds retarded. We already have a family channel. It's ABC Family, which used to be Fox Family, which used to be the Family Channel.
Yeah. So this thing, I heard about this, a few months ago, and it actually is happening this next week. Now, I have looked, because I still have the Hub, and like you said, it's just they're just gonna change the channel name. I looked at the programming for the 13th and 14th of October. Most of it is cartoons that were on the Hub, like Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, My Little Pony, Transformers Prime, Transformers Rescue Bots, in the morning during the week. But like from noon to 11 p.m. at night, it's completely different. It's just totally different listings, everything else. I don't know. I guess with the next story we'll talk about, with that certain new show being on the other network we've just been bashing, I guess I can kind of probably cancel my extra channel package that I had to pay for to get the Hub, which is only an additional $10, but I guess I can cancel that now. since the hub isn't going to be the hub anymore, and I can watch Transformers on Cartoon Network whenever they decide to air them. It's like I don't know. The sad thing is, I don't think this is all Discovery's fault, the Discovery Communications' fault. I think this is the collaboration between them and Hasbro. I think Hasbro, they wanted more out of the deal. Because the whole point of them showing their programs and everything else was to boost toy sales. And Discovery's like, yeah, no, bye. Kinda. It's kind of I mean, that's the most, layman term I can come up with for that. Oh, Lord.
Yep.
It sucks.
So anyways, DC has decidedly thought that they should include Wally West in The Flash already.
Yep.
And he's going to be the new iteration, which is, this one's going to be not Caucasian Wally West.
New 52 Wally. Okay.
Yep. Not that I have a problem with, change. I think that, honestly, I think Marvel's trying to copy DC at this point. I mean, let's think about it. DC changed a lot of their origins and their characters and their ethnic backgrounds and sexual preferences and genders and all these other, things that people are like, oh my God, we have to be PC about it. Politically correct. We got to add diversity. We got to add this. We got to add that. I mean, honestly, I don't have a problem with change. I think it's kind of dumb that they're all of a sudden, I don't know. I'm trying to tread this line very carefully because I don't want to offend anybody on any of the fronts because, everybody's going to be so PC anymore about everything. And I think it's kind of bullshit and a cop-out, but
I think
I think if it was legitimate writing and evolution of things, that it would not be as offending to me that they're changing everything the way that they are. And the same thing goes for Marvel. They're doing the same thing. I know this is such a off-the-wall thing from DC hinting at Wally West joining the CW's Flash cast, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. It's just been something that's been bothering me since I saw the news of like, oh, Thor's going to be a female and Captain America is going to be black, and everybody's making a big deal about all of it. And it's like, okay, it's the Falcon for one, so it's already a predetermined character.
Yeah, it's a different character.
I don't have a problem with that because that's happened before. I mean, Nightwing's taken over for Batman. Falcon's done it before for Captain America. I don't have a problem with necessarily somebody else stepping into the shoes of the name and the character. I have a problem when they change the character entirely and retcon it and create it, this is the new origin of the character, blah, blah, blah.
This
it's
is
like,
the
leave the origin
year.
alone. It's just, go ahead and, the Falcon thing, like I said, I didn't have a problem with. But the thing with, like, Thor changing and then making Tony Stark a complete a-hole, and then, like I said, just trying to be PC about everything, I think it's just crap. And I know that they're trying something new because they've been writing the same stories for these characters for anywhere from 10 to 75 years. So it's getting old and they're telling the same stories, and I get it. But there's also a point where they don't have to have 10 Batman books and 10 Wolverine books and 10 Spider-Man books, and they can write some of these other characters. Yeah, for now. Give it a year.
Yeah, I know.
They'll revive them next year when they start talking about Apocalypse again.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it goes along those lines, and I know this is kind of an off-wall tangent. I'll let you speak now.
Well, with Wally supposedly going to be joining the Flash, I think that's unnecessary. Whether it doesn't matter what version or what color or what gender Wally is. I mean, they could make Iris West the next new Flash, or so. It doesn't matter to me. But honestly, at this point, after seeing the pilot to Flash airing on television, I have no problem with the character in the show being Barry Allen. I really like it, and it's probably the first time in me knowing about the Barry Allen version of the Flash that I actually care about the character is in the new CW series, but it wouldn't have really been a huge leap for me if they had made his professor dude, the scientist dude, the old dude in the wheelchair. If they made that guy Barry Allen and they made the younger guy be Wally West, that wouldn't be too huge of a leap for me. I honestly hope they don't bring in New 52 Wally West. I think we need to see, and maybe they'll wait till if they get a second season to do this. I don't know when that's going to be done, but
I don't think that they're going to give him the powers right away, but I think that they're going to introduce him. Maybe I think it's a mistake, but
yeah.
I mean, I understand that Arrow's gone so well for them, and it's going to cause all these splinter shows to happen. Look at the Flash. I mean, that's a point, but I don't necessarily want to see them tip their hand either. Because like Arrow, I enjoy it, and I'm sure I know I'm going to enjoy Flash. It's just I'd rather see them not have to create more characters of the same thing right away.
Right.
Because Arrow was, I mean, for the first season, Arrow was by himself.
Yep.
Other than Diggle, he really was by himself. And then the second season, they had
Felicity.
Black Canary come in. They had all these other characters come into the fold, and Arsenal and everybody else show up. So I mean, I think it's one of those things that if it happened in a natural evolution of the show, I'd be fine with it.
Right.
But if they're just going to bring them, just keep bringing in characters to bring in characters, I really don't want to see that.
Yeah, no.
There's enough shows that do that on TV that are asking to be hit with a sledgehammer.
Are you referring to a certain city?
I'm not quite sure to what you're referring.
Yeah, R. Kelly talked about it in the 1997 Batman and Robin film.
I don't recognize comments from those films. They do not exist in my mind.
Fucking song. Friggin' song. Alright, tech news, I guess.
Well, one of note is HP splitting itself in two, which they've been talking about doing for years, and then they cancel on it, and then they do it again. They're separating their PC and printer business from their enterprise business.
Okay.
So it's going to be hardware and software, essentially. And so what are they going to call themselves? Hewlett on one side and Packard on the other? Oh, wait, they used to be that back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be interesting. I know that, it's... Hopefully that means that, we'll all have domestic call centers. My brother does work for one, so there's that point.
Yeah.
And it is HP, so which one are you going to help?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm betting it will be the PC and printer side. It will not be the enterprise business.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm an asshole.
Congress.
Amazon's collecting sales tax in 23 states, which I did not know. I know they were talking about it in some states, but I didn't know which ones.
Is it Michigan?
Surprisingly, Michigan's not on the list.
Flunk them.
Yeah, Kentucky's on there.
Yeah, Kentucky's on there.
And Massachusetts. So no matter what state you lived in, you're screwed.
Oh, damn. Even Arizona's on there, too. It sucks.
California, I'm not surprised.
California, they need all the tax collection they can get.
The funny thing is the place that everything from Amazon gets shipped from is in Kentucky.
I know.
And
pisses me
to
off.
have that on there is total BS. Amazon will just pack up and move somewhere else. Hey, where can I not pay taxes?
The Caribbean.
Yeah.
The Cayman Islands.
Yeah, we'll go hang out in Vietnam. You might see your stuff in, 4 weeks.
Dang me, get a rope and hang me. Oh, sorry. It's a bad Adrian Cronauer line.
Good morning.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that eventually all the states will be on this bandwagon.
Probably.
Because Congress is trying to find any way to get money. Considering they spend it as fast as,
Yeah.
a million people taking a pee at the same time. And
Wow. Okay.
pissing on their wallets.
Yeah.
On our time.
Yeah.
Making more money than we do.
Yep.
Sorry, just a little bitter. Sit through a business class and listen to, how the government wastes money, and we're sitting here making shit change.
Yep.
I'm sorry, this is so dark this week.
When I mentioned Khan, I wasn't talking about the Gress. I was talking about the fact that NASA is interested in pulling a Wrath of Khan film move with a sleep motion mission to Mars.
Which I think is actually kind of cool.
I think it's cool, but I think it's kind of silly that it took Star Trek Into Darkness for them to come up with this.
Considering it was done in the 60s?
I know.
They've already got the cell phone and the pad and, all this other stuff that was made from, yeah, I don't know. They haven't even, they said, we've successfully put people to sleep for 7 hours or 7 days. It's like, well, can you do it for half a year?
Yeah, really.
And make it work? What are you going to have, a shit tube coming out of their butt? Because eventually something's going to have to come out. But, unless they can figure out a way to shut them down, and how are they going to bring them back?
Yeah.
Oh, they landed. Oh, it's perfect. Nobody's awake. Shit. Who's gonna wake them up?
It'd be
the computer. The battery died.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we could just build a portal to Mars. No space travel needed.
Ship.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know why I'm so dark this week. It's just funny, but. But I think it's kind of a cool concept. I just like to see how it would actually be put into implementation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So apparently smartphones are ushering in a new era of podcasting.
Yeah. Well, it just makes it easier for people to... And I put this in there. It's kind of related, but kind of not related. It's... basically showing that people with smartphones over having like your typical iPod or stuff like that subscribe to a lot more, about 50% more shows than what they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
By having to physically download them to an iPod every week.
Right.
Because you can have it right at your fingertips through your phone.
Yeah.
Which is... basically awesome. I mean, even now you can actually kind of get them through your car.
Yep.
Because a lot of the newer vehicles, especially working at a Chevy dealership, I have to listen to the annoying OnStar thing pop on every time you start one of the cars now, one of the 2015s or some of the 14s, but mostly the 15s. It says some advertisement for OnStar, and then it says something about the 4G LTE network or whatever. And you get... basically, if you sign up for OnStar and you sign up for the 4G, you can have Wi-Fi in your car wherever you go. So it's like having your, like a separate bill that you're paying for an internet connection, which I can't see how people are going to actually pay for it, being that it doesn't say how many, how much bandwidth you get.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is if you're already paying a data bill with your cell phone, why would you pay for it in a car?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that some people are going to do it, but I can't see the practical application for it. But
And let's face it, when you're in a car, you're supposed to be driving, not surfing the damn internet.
Well, I mean, it would be good in the sense that if you're trying to listen to podcasts and stream them to your car, or stuff like that. So I mean, I can see that. And then if you're using like Stitcher or something, that's kind of what the use is. And plus, if you have passengers like very short passengers that are around the 10-year-old age on up, or sometimes younger. They'll be able to sit on their whatever devices and watch Cartoon Network on demand, unfortunately, and various other things like that. So, I mean, I can kind of see it, but it's more technology to go wrong in the car. So, but yeah, anyways, it'll make it easier for people to listen to podcasts. So.
Yep.
I think we're going to skip over to the miscellaneous pile.
Okay.
I kind of find it interesting that the Batman creative team at DC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm referring to, don't you?
Uh-huh.
How they, and I was kind of pissing and moaning about this earlier on, too. How they decided to make all the comics $4.99.
Oh, no, that's not what was said. Come on now, get it right.
They made Endgame $4.99.
No. No. The creative team didn't do this.
Not the creative team. DC did.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't blaming Scott and Greg for the
No.
price.
Okay. I give them, as much as I may dislike their story plots right at the moment, I do like their graphics, and I do like the the art and the fact that they're standing up for their readership and saying that, hey, come on, put it back to $3.99. Stop being greedy just because it's extra pages. I mean, shoot, I know that, inflation and all this other stuff and the costs and everything, but
yeah.
I remember in the 90s, I used to pay $2 for a comic that was like 40 pages.
I remember the 80s when you could still get 50 and 75-cent comics. But here's the thing, okay? They said in this article, or I remember seeing tweets posted on an article from Scott and Greg where they said all of the Endgame issues are going to be double issues. Here's the thing, though. Certain things, depending on what those things are, I don't quite mind. Like, if I'm going to buy a physical book, fine. I'm sorry. I already got burned buying, and don't get me wrong, I love IDW, but I already got burned by not enjoying the 2014 Turtles annual, and I paid $8 for a digital copy of that. There's no way. As soon as I saw this article about the Batman price because of Endgame is all double-sized issues, I immediately went to Comixology and unsubscribed from Batman, because as much as I was interested to see what they were going to do after Zero Year, I don't have the money to spend on a $5 comic book that only has, double the page. So 40 pages, 80, 70, 80-something pages. I don't have, especially for a digital copy.
Well, I'm sorry, but a digital copy should not cost as much as the physical copy.
Exactly.
There's just no way in hell. There's no reason why it costs that much. I mean, I understand that they're trying to promote it, or if they're going to do something like that and they're going to have the digital copy, come out, have it come out like after the book's been out.
Yep.
Like a month or so people have to buy it, in the store, or if they don't want to, get it that way and they want to get the digital copy, then reduce the price. But I don't know. There's some kind of a weird lining that you get to play with that for them to actually make money. But that's why I quit collecting. Honestly, I didn't want to spend the price anymore. They kept jacking up the prices between. I was fine with the $2.99 comics, which boggles my mind why some of them are $2.99 and then some of them are $3.99. Like when you get Snyder and Capello, and don't get me wrong, I like the guys. They're awesome. They're definitely fans, and they definitely have a lot more going for them. Other than, I would much rather read something from them over Morrison or DeDildo.
Stop stealing my line.
figured you'd get the irony there. But I can't see. $3.99 was my limit. Like it killed me getting some of the annuals or some of the stuff that costs like $7 for Batman, and I'm like, okay, this is just I could have done without this. So I quit buying those, and then when it came to the point of Batman jumping around between $3.99 and $4.99, I was like, and then not liking the 0 year arc, I was done, and I haven't collected since issue 30. So, and I even dropped Detective because I didn't like some of where the direction was going for it. So, I mean, I may pick up the trade, to get the story arc, so I understand it all. But I'm not gonna do the individuals anymore. It's getting too costly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on to a lighter note, Netflix is preparing to do their own digital theater by starting out by signing a 4-picture deal to do Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, Lord.
I know that some people don't like his comedy, and I get it. It's an acquired taste. That's like Jim Carrey comedy. You either like it or you don't.
Uh-huh.
Which I'm fortunate. I love both. It depends on the kind of stupid, too, though. There's some, I will admit, there's some Adam Sandler movies I can't stand. They're just too dumb for me. So, but anyways, so Netflix signed a deal for 4 original movies that Adam Sandler is to star in and produce the 4 films. They'll be released exclusively on Netflix. And the first film could hit as early as 2015. Sandler's Happy Madison will develop and produce. The Netflix pack does not include Sandler's existing studio deals. They want it basically to be all Netflix exclusive, no theater, nothing. So, which that's starting between Amazon and Yahoo and Netflix starting to do all this. Digitally, they're starting to take away from the theaters, which is starting to piss them off. So we'll see how that big battle evolves over the next couple of years, which I'm kind of interested if you guys have any comments on that. And
you guys, I'm the only other one here.
Well,
I'm saying to your imaginary friend here.
I'm talking it to the listeners. You know, because they have listened to it too. So anyways, Adam Sandler has, despite his films having been panned by critics, he has the most popular rentals of the year, the most watched films out of most of Netflix queues. He's only got it says that his last Rotten Tomatoes fresh rating was for Funny People, which I thought was terrible. Because it wasn't funny, and it was like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
And it was mostly him throwing F-bombs and everything else, and I once they start throwing the F-bombs a couple times, I'm done.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, it's gonna be funny. To see how that kind of plays out. I like the quote that he says, though, because it's just kind of wrong. It says that when these fine people came to me with an offer to make 4 movies for them, I immediately said yes for one reason and one reason only. He says Netflix rhymes with wet chicks.
It sounds like a Rob Schneider line.
It sounds like he may actually make a movie called Wet Chicks.
Oh, God.
Which would be horrible. Oh, I gotta move on from this. That was at least funny, though.
Yeah.
Have you seen while we're still on the DC bandwagon for the moment?
Yes.
The 6 spoilerific teasers for Future's End?
No. I am so far out of... I don't even care about Future's End.
Well, these are just spoiler images. They're basically just spelling out some quotes, and it starts out with Terry fighting against Batman in like some kind of a weird Justice Lord / Future's End batsuit.
Yeah.
And the first cover says, "Too late. I have seen it," but I is spelled like an I.
Yeah.
And then it says, "You will suffer," and it's got like a heartbeat thing going on while it's showing heroes and everything. And Superman, it says, "You will submit. You will die." While at the top of the "You will die," it's got Batman and the Joker's brains tied together with some kind of like Brainiac wiring.
Right.
Which looks just disturbing as all hell. And then it says, "I am," and it's got like a picture of Brainiac, and I is spelled like I again, and it says, "Your future." But it shows like a guy next to the Batman Beyond symbol in the your future, and then it's got a guy holding the bat cowl.
Yeah.
Which confuses the hell out of me.
I don't even know, and I'm not even... I
will pick it up when it comes to trade.
Yeah.
The Future's End, but I have no ambition to see what happens after because it's another like almost Infinite Crisis type thing going on.
Oh, did you hear the news about them? I don't know if this is news, if it's true or not. I saw rumors on the internet somewhere about how there's a potential where they may they may unite the continuities and have pre-New 52 and New 52 as one whole new continuity and have them coexist.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That must be what multiversity is.
I honestly...
Might as well just cancel all the comics and just have it as one giant comic.
I honestly have no idea. I saw this on Newsarama somewhere earlier this week, and I thought it was... They said, if DC decides to unite pre-New 52 and New 52 continuity, would you guys be interested in it and whatever else? And I just did, like, I don't know, I did some weird math in my head, and if it's pre-New 52 and New 52, that would be the new 104. Because 52 and 52 is 104. I don't know. Anyway, I
don't want to see two Bruce Waynes. I don't want to see, you'll have a repaired Joker.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I was kind of out on Future's End, because I'll be honest, and I think most people would know this by now, I pretty much only care about the Bat family when it comes to DC. I mean, I like Superman, and I like, certain aspects of his universe and stuff like that. I like certain members of the Green Lantern Corps, like Kilowog, like Kilowog, like Kyle Rayner, like John Stewart. But when I first read Future's End #0, I figured, okay, Future's End, this is going to be the introduction of Terry McGinnis in the New 52. It's going to focus on Terry McGinnis. And by issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, by issue 3, I was out of Future's End. I was done, because there was not enough Terry McGinnis. There was all these other storylines being set up, and I just did not care, and I did not want to spend the money on something I did not care about.
No, I get it. That's kind of why I drop comics.
Yeah.
I'll wait and see what happens over the next year or two. I mean, I might pick them back up, but I don't know at this point.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of the flip-flopping and the goofy continuities and some of these. The problem is, and I think it's because you got too many of the pre-New 52 people.
Yep.
Still stuck in pre-New 52 mode, trying to write their pre-New 52 stories in the New 52.
Yep.
Which is why the continuity never made sense to begin with when they switched.
Yep. I mean, for me at this point, I have... Okay, outside of the licensed title that DC is doing, which is Masters of the Universe, I have Eternal, Batgirl, and Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond is going to be ending in November. Batgirl, depending on the story, because there's a new creative team now, a whole new creative team, starting with issue 35. Right now, I'm not too keen on the art, but I'll give it at least 2 issues and check it out. If I don't like it, I'm done with Batgirl. I'm pretty much, by the end of this year, I will have probably one DC title, and it's not even a DC, like, core DC character title. It's basically He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The rest of my subscriptions are Cowl, Turtles, and Transformers, which Cowl is Image, Turtles and Transformers are IDW. Yeah, I'm all but done with DC at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of done.
Yep.
I can't say enough of how much it bothers me.
Yep, it's just not good anymore.
On the plus side,
Yes.
Rumors are Fox is developing a X-Men TV show. And Sony and Marvel could share Spider-Man.
I saw the picture that I think it was. I think it was Newsarama. I don't know, but what would you think if Spider-Man joined the Avengers? And it shows a picture of on the left-hand side. It's the current Marvel Universe Avengers with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
You know they're talking about replacing him after the Sinister Six, or with the Sinister Six film.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a weird way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need 3 different Spider-Men in a 10-year span.
Yeah, really.
Batman hasn't even had that many reincarnations.
Well,
not in 10 years.
Yeah, okay, not in 10 years. Okay.
So, same thing with Daredevil. I mean, it's been 10 years since they've had a Daredevil.
Yeah, it's been 11. Yeah, well, no, Batman back in the day, between 8. Okay, it's more like 8 years. In an 8-year span, Batman changed twice. Because Michael Keaton was in the first 2, and then Kilmer. So there have been 2 other Batmans other than Keaton in the movies before that, 97 or 2005 gap between Clooney and Bale. But yeah, I don't know. If Fox has Gotham at this point, if Gotham doesn't succeed, I don't think a lot of people will be that surprised. So far, it seems to be doing okay. It's not a out of the gate hit. I don't know. I don't know. I just wish that with Marvel being owned by Disney at this point, I wish that Marvel would have their own live action channel for their property shows. I
wish
really
DC
do.
had all their stuff on one channel too.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
The CW.
Yep. Well, yeah. All right, should we get into some feedback or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, the other thing I wanted to touch on is the William Shatner Star Trek 3 cameo. He's made it blatantly obvious he's in open talks. As far as that, or he's at least been somewhat approached. But what they want to do with him is have him do the rumor that's going around right now is he's kind of flip-flopping on whether people ask him or have contacted him or not. It's
right.
It's who knows what the hell's going on. But anyways, what they want to have happen is have future Spock and
future Kirk
in the current continuity, not the they want to jump time to when they're old,
right?
So technically Kirk is still alive in this continuity. So they would meet themselves, their younger self, but it's all within the same timeline. It's not jumping to the original timeline where Kirk is actually dead.
So they basically want to do a Back to the Future, but they can actually see themselves and nothing. The universe doesn't explode.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure. Why not? I mean, you know, at this point with Star Trek, I didn't have as many issues because I'm a casual Star Trek fan. I mean, I grew up watching Next Generation, but honestly, I barely remember any of it. But I think I said this to you off air. I wish that they would do like a Generations 2 or something like that. Where it's, something like, Kirk and Spock have to go back in time to, like, in the current timeline, old Kirk and old Spock have to go back to young Kirk and Spock, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Looking forward to some stuff. I know that it looks like William Shatner is a big fan of Supernatural, though. I only say that because he's been posting on Twitter constantly. Supernatural season 10 starts tonight. And he's like almost like Twitter stalking the stars of it. The Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles and Misha Collins
I mean,
Mark Shepard. I don't know. It's cool. If you had to pick one TV show that's on TV right now that's kind of the off the wall thing, then he picked Supernatural. So, but anyways, listener comments. Connor Murphy says, if they don't call the next Star Trek movie Star Trek: The Search for Future Spock, they would be making a horrible mistake. Which would be funny because they're probably going to have to actually search for future Spock and future Kirk.
Yeah, that's probably what they're going to do.
And then I threw out a bunch of random what I think it should be called. And then you threw out yours.
Yes. The other one I just thought of by looking at one of yours was, instead of the Age of Dissolution, the Age of Defiance. Because the Defiant was the ship in Into Darkness.
No, that was the Vengeance.
Oh. No, I thought that was the Defiant. No. Okay, whatever. Like I said, I'm casual over here, damn it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I know that movie. I hate it with passion. I don't hate the movie itself. Well, we explained that anyway. Yeah. So, Animation Addict says, this episode reminds me of why I can't stand the gamer community. All they do is bitch and whine about everything like spoiled children, yet still pay and play the games that they are complaining about. I didn't say a word. And I defended myself, even though it wasn't warranted. Justin Washington says, I would say, though, that all the complaints about Destiny were 100% on point, though, just giving the truth from where I'm sitting. And then he kind of went back and says, I don't doubt that. I simply don't understand why people even play video games when all people do is complain 80% of the time about it. If something caused me that much strife, I'd stop doing it. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. And Epicurious Obsidian says, the changing of endings based on fan reaction, because we're talking about video game endings changed, is as old as stories themselves. Even literature greats like Charles Dickens changed the ending of books because of fan outrage. It has happened countless times in all different forms and shapes and sizes. Sometimes those changes are bad because sometimes they are good. It's just the nature of telling a story for the masses. Yeah, it's funny what changes just because of backlash.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, nope, just stick to your guns.
And I don't know if I want to reveal this, but I will. I don't think, if I've ever read Great Expectations, it has been a long ass time since then. And the only thing I remember, like really remember, a version of that I can actually attest to, is the 1998 Gwyneth Paltrow Ethan Hawke film with Robert De Niro and oh god, oh crap, what's his name? Oh Christ, the guy that played Chris Cooper. That's the guy that played Norman Osborn in Amazing Spider-Man 2. But yeah, yep. So yeah. What?
Yeah. Anyways,
Sorry.
I think that about rounds it out.
Yep.
Not too bad. Still kind of around an hour. Actually, a little bit over, but not by much. Hopefully, this isn't a total train wreck. If you guys have any questions for us or anything that you'd like to bring up, feel free. Again, looking for comments about the Netflix and movie theater debacle that'll, I'm sure, be coming down soon. Again, because you're going to start seeing, I think, a lot more of that Netflix taking away and other media streaming sources taking away films from the theater.
Oh, absolutely.
So, which means you may not see as big of blockbusters as what you're used to because they can't exactly afford to throw the money into it.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. There's a film on iTunes that hadn't even, I don't think, hit theaters. It's called Drive Hard. I kid you not, that's what it's called. It stars.
Are you serious?
Yes. It stars Thomas Jane and let me see here. I pull it up. Drive Hard. It stars John Cusack and Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane, the 2004 Punisher. The original title of this was Hard Drive. But it's basically a former race car driver, Peter Roberts, traded the winner's circle for a 9-to-5 job as beginner's driving instructor, but his life shifts into overdrive when Simon Keller hijacks Peter to be his getaway driver in a $9 million heist. This movie hadn't even gotten released in theaters, and it was on iTunes for $10. So the age of films potentially being on mass media before theaters is very, I'm looking at it right now on iTunes. It's you can rent it for $6.99 in either HD or SD. But yeah, it's crazy that I don't even think it's out in theaters yet, and it's already on iTunes. Let's see here. Release date, it doesn't even say. Wow. That's crazy.
Interesting. Or not. I was like screwing with you. So I think that about cuts it out this week.
Yep.
So if you'd like to interact with the show, you can do so in the following ways. With a foe. What the? But call the voicemail line at 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback at geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on the website, geekcastradio.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter at SCP21. And yours, sir?
At TFG1 Mike.
So, as always, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. See you next time.